After Kane was forced to remove his mask and reveal his identity for the first time in his career, he took his anger out by giving Linda McMahon a vicious tombstone piledriver. This caused her son Shane to return to WWE for the first time in 2 years to confront Kane. Shane sent Kane crashing off the stage, but Kane was unfazed by the attack. Later, Kane got his revenge on Shane by interfering during Shane's match with Chris Jericho. The two fought all the way backstage, where Shane got the upper hand and tried to take Kane out by knocking him into a flaming dumpster. However, Kane showed that wasn't enough by emerging the next week on Raw and getting revenge on Shane in a cruel and unusual fashion. To settle their differences, a last man standing match was booked for the 2003 Unforgiven pay-per-view. Their match was full of non-stop back-and-forth action. When Shane finally got the upper hand but was unable to keep Kane down, he panicked and resorted to extreme measures in an attempt to secure the victory. However, Kane moved at the last second, sending Shane crashing through the set, which allowed Kane to win the match. The next night, Shane was interviewed about his condition from the hospital via satellite. Shockingly, Kane showed up at the hospital to inflict even more damage on Shane. With Shane out of action, Kane started to decimate other wrestlers on the roster. However, Shane surprisingly showed up on Raw during one of Kane's matches and lured him backstage, where he trapped him in a limousine and sent it crashing into a trailer. After all this chaos, they were booked to compete in an ambulance match at the 2003 Survivor Series pay-per-view. When the match started, it immediately spilled ringside and then backstage. Shane was able to get the upper hand and attempted to load Kane into the ambulance, but Kane fought back and started to get his own offense in as they fought back to the main entranceway. From there, Shane was able to gain the upper hand again and hit a huge coast-to-coast off of the ambulance. However, he still struggled to load Kane into the ambulance, which gave Kane the opening to attack a tired Shane. Kane then hit a tombstone piledriver on the concrete floor, knocking Shane out and allowing Kane to load him into the ambulance and win the match. After losing to Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 15 and then again 2 years later at WrestleMania 17, The Rock finally got a WrestleMania victory over Austin at WrestleMania 19. To celebrate this achievement, he held a rock concert during the Rock Appreciation Ceremony the next night on Raw. However, his concert was interrupted by Goldberg, who was making his WWE debut. Goldberg told The Rock that he's next and delivered a vicious spear, setting up a match between the two at the 2003 Backlash pay-per-view, which Goldberg ended up winning. The next night, Chris Jericho hosted his first ever highlight reel to interview Goldberg about his impressive victory. However, shortly into the segment, Jericho told Goldberg that no one wanted him in WWE. Jericho's jealousy led him to hire Lance Storm to try to run over Goldberg, but the attempt was unsuccessful. As a result, a match was set up between Goldberg and Jericho at the Bad Blood pay-per-view, which Goldberg ended up winning. These two impressive victories catapulted Goldberg into the title picture, and he was booked to compete for the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam in the second ever Elimination Chamber match. When Goldberg entered the match, he dominated and single-handedly took out Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Jericho, leaving him alone with World Heavyweight Champion Triple H. But as he lined him up for a spear, Ric Flair passed Triple H his signature sledgehammer, which he used on Goldberg to pick up the victory. After the match, Triple H, Flair, and Orton gave Goldberg a vicious beatdown, leading to Goldberg putting his career on the line to get a one-on-one World Heavyweight Championship match against Triple H at the upcoming Unforgiven pay-per-view. During their match, Triple H tried to use the sledgehammer, but Goldberg countered with a spear and hit his signature jackhammer finisher to pick up the victory and win the World Heavyweight Championship. After Big Show threatened to throw Torrie Wilson off a 20-foot ledge, Kurt Angle attempted to reason with him. However, this only caused Big Show to grab Angle instead and deliver a brutal chokeslam, sending him crashing to the ground below. Once Angle was cleared to compete again, he got his revenge on Big Show by knocking him out with a tranquilizer gun, allowing him to humiliate Big Show by shaving his head bald. As a result, a match was set for the two to face off at the 2004 No Mercy pay-per-view. When their match started, Big Show was able to dominate with ease. Angle decided that he no longer wanted to fight and started to retreat through the crowd. However, General Manager Teddy Long came out to tell Angle that if he quits the match, he'll never wrestle on SmackDown again. So, Angle made his way back to the ring. When the match restarted, Big Show continued to dominate until the referee was inadvertently knocked down. This opened up the opportunity for Angle to attack Big Show with a steel chair, but he was still unable to pick up the victory. Angle then went to grab the tranquilizer from under the ring, but Big Show broke it over his leg. Big Show then executed his chokeslam finisher from the top rope to pick up the pinfall victory. After JBL narrowly retained his WWE Championship in WWE's first ever barbed wire cage match, he hosted a party on SmackDown to celebrate the longest title reign in the past decade. However, the celebration was cut short by the new #1 contender, John Cena, who launched a surprise attack on JBL. This incident led to JBL getting the ultimate payback by making Cena lose his US Championship to Orlando Jordan and then destroying his customized spinner belt. Cena attempted to retaliate physically, but Teddy Long warned that if he laid a hand on JBL first, he would lose his WrestleMania match. As a result, Cena started doing several things to provoke JBL. When Cena went as far as to vandalize JBL's limousine, JBL had Cena arrested, which ended up being a calculated plan on JBL's end to attack Cena 1 week before their WrestleMania match. After both men made their elaborate entrances and the match started, it was clear that JBL's attack had given him an advantage. However, when JBL set up for his finishing move, Cena was able to counter with his own finisher, which was enough to pin JBL and win the WWE Championship for the first time in his illustrious career. After defeating John Cena to win the title at the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view, CM Punk allowed his contract to expire, asserting that he was taking the WWE Championship with him forever. In response, Vince McMahon announced an 8-man tournament to crown a new champion the next night on Raw. Rey Mysterio and The Miz both advanced to the finals, but before their championship match could start, Vince McMahon interrupted to use the final segment to fire John Cena. However, before he could do so, Triple H interrupted, announcing that the board of directors had removed McMahon from power and that he was the replacement. The next week on Raw, Mysterio was able to defeat The Miz to win the WWE Championship and even thwarted Alberto Del Rio's cash-in attempt. However, Triple H announced that John Cena still deserved a title rematch, so Mysterio had to have his first title defense against Cena later that night. In an intense back-and-forth contest, Cena emerged victorious and reclaimed the WWE Championship. But immediately after the match, Punk returned to WWE with his title belt, which initiated a dispute on who was the true champion. So, a title match was scheduled for SummerSlam with Triple H as the special guest referee to determine the undisputed champion. After a closely contested battle, Punk emerged victorious when Triple H inadvertently missed Cena's foot on the bottom rope during the 3 count. But as Punk was celebrating, Kevin Nash made his first appearance in 8 years to attack Punk, which led to Alberto Del Rio cashing in his Money in the Bank contract to defeat Punk to become the new WWE champion.